Sound test. Hola, somos Ooberfuse de Inglaterra, and we are very happy to be here, and this is our song called Mercy. Once clothed in scarlet, now you've washed me white as snow. I was lost without a place to go. Now your mercy's all I know. No more scorn or condemnation as I live under your grace. I was once so shattered, all broken and bruised. Now I'm whole in your embrace. Now is the time for mercy. Now is the time for grace. This is the season of compassion, that the world may see your face. Now is the time for mercy. Now is the time for grace. This is the season of compassion, that the world may see your Feel the force of true revolution, love that changes human hearts. His strength made perfect in our weakness, one body, many parts. We will go and show your mercy with your courage, with no fear. In the midst of a mighty and raging storm, we are calm, 'cause we know you're here. Now is the time for mercy. Now is the time for grace. This is the season of compassion, that the world may see your face. Now is the time for mercy. Now is the time for grace. This is the season of compassion, that the world may see your face. Aquí estoy, 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 aquí estoy. Now is the time for mercy. Now is the time for grace. This is the season of compassion, that the world may see your face. Now is the time for mercy. Now is the time for grace. This is the season of compassion, that the world may see your face. So our next song is a song we wrote called Unshakable, which is inspired by the verse in Colossians, which says, planted and built up in Jesus Christ, firm in the faith. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So our next song is a song we wrote called Stand Up. And it's really to highlight the importance of praying and doing something for the plight of persecuted Christians, for our brothers and sisters worldwide. Stand up for freedom, stand up for faith, stand up and be a message of hope and not hate. Stand up for freedom, stand up for faith, stand up and be a message of hope and not hate. We are many, we're one body, called to show grace, love, and mercy. This is not the time to stay silent. Who knows if you were born for such a time as this? Stand up for freedom, stand up for faith, stand up and be a message of hope and not hate. Stand up for freedom, stand up for faith, stand up and be a message of hope and not hate. Persecuted, not forgotten. We may be struck down, but we'll never be destroyed. We stand united in love and prayer. Who knows if you were born for such a time as this? Stand up for freedom, stand up for faith, stand up and be a message of hope and not hate. Stand up for freedom, stand up for faith, stand up and be a message of hope and not hate.
Who has eyes that see? Who has eyes that don't see? We cannot simply walk away from this point in history. For all the suffering and sin, all the tears, sorrow and pain, for all the voices and the way. Love will rule again. He who has ears let them hear. He who has eyes let them see. We cannot simply walk away from this point in history. For all the voiceless and the weak, for all the suffering and sin, for all the tears, sorrow and pain.
Love will rule again. Love will rule again. Stand up for freedom, stand up for faith, stand up and be a message of hope and not hate. Stand up for freedom, stand up for faith, stand up and be a message of hope and not hate. Love will rule again. 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 So that was our song called Stand Up. So our next song is a song we wrote inspired by this year's World Youth Day theme called Here I Am, Aquí Estoy. We hope you like it. next song is our song we wrote, inspired by the Bible verse in Matthew that says, "Go make disciples of all nations." Well, it's not by our own power, not by our own might. We are walking in the faith, not by our own sight. His love changed our hearts, broken chains set us free, with no fear, with no shame. Act on his decree. Get up and go. Make disciples of all nations. Go, make disciples of all nations.
I am the seed of Moses, I am the seed of his love. I am as cunning as a serpent and as harmless as a dove. I don't care about words, what to say or what to speak. Go make disciples of all nations. Go give strength to the weak. Go out to Asia and Africa, to Europe and Australia, to Europe and America, and upwards to Antarctica. Give good news to the poor. Go and heal the broken-hearted. Go give sight to the blind. Go and get this party started.
Go, make disciples of all nations. Get up and go. Make disciples of all nations. Go, make disciples of all nations. Get up and go. Make disciples of all nations. Go, make disciples of all nations. Get up and go. Make disciples of all nations. Go, make disciples of all nations. Get up and go. Make disciples of all nations. Get up and go. So our next song is about letting your light shine so that the world could see the light that is inside your heart. Here we go.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna put it on the stand, I won't give up the fight. I'm not gonna courage, won't be discouraged. I'm gonna stand in the truth, and that the truth is knowledge. And
I am blessed and blessed and blessed to have a love like this, like this, like this.
yeah. I am the son of the king. I know that I'm accepted. I have a destiny, and I won't be rejected. I want you to feel it. This is why I say this. I let it out, spit these bars, make it God famous. I'ma let it shine, this little light of mine. Put the news on the stand, and I won't let it shine. And I don't care except, and if you hear the truth, cause my story stands before you, and it's living proof. If he did it for me, then he'll do it for you. He's knocking on the door, so what you gonna do?
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, oh let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, oh let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna show it shine. I will testify and live my life, the grand design. I believe it, yeah, you're the reason why. Now I see it, no longer faking, no longer confused. So I give you praise cause you love what you do. Cause you give me something for the people understand. And know that made me wanna be a better man. So I'm gonna go out and talk to your people. Yes, 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 I'm gonna talk to your people. Give them the chance to get up and to claim the proof. And the truth is you're the reason why I'm feeling it.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, oh let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, oh let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, oh let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, oh let it shine. Be her voice, be her freedom, come on stand up. We've got to rise up, open our eyes up. Be her voice, be her freedom, come on stand up. We've got to rise up, open our eyes up. Be her voice, be her freedom, come on stand up. Little girl, don't cry in the darkest night. Let me be your light. You are not alone. Hold on through the storm. You're not on your own. Hold on, love will come. We've got to rise up, open our eyes up. Be her voice, be her freedom, come on stand up. We've got to rise up, open our eyes up. Be her voice, be her freedom, come on stand up. We've got to rise up, open our eyes up. Be her voice, be her freedom, come on stand up. We've got to rise up, open our eyes up. Be her voice, be her freedom, come on stand up.
Hello and welcome back to Shalom World's continuing coverage of World Youth Day 2019 in Panama, here in Central America. And we are at Omar Park, and this is one of the central stages in World Youth Day, the stage, the amphitheater actually, where we have acts coming in throughout the day, and there was one act that just played, and I told our producer, can I please interview them? So I'm going to introduce us now to Hal and to Cherry, excuse me, and they're with the band Ooberfuse. So I'd like to first of all ask about your formation. Understand that you didn't know one another, but you met on a musician's retreat. Is that correct?
Exactly. And when we were on the retreat, we worked out that we wanted to take music that has a spiritual content one step forward. And by that I mean bring in the influences of the secular musical culture so that it translates into other non-church environments, to bring the spirit out of the church into the secular world. So,
well, that is exactly what struck me about your set.
Yeah.
And I love a rhythm section of guitar, bass, drums. I love that. You didn't have that. You had brought in some electronica elements and some different loops and programming.
Yeah.
And so, is that your own background? Are you one who tinkers a lot?
Well, I've grown up playing the guitar in church, but also grown up in London, which is like a melting pot of experimentation with technology and music. So you can walk into a music shop in London and there's all kinds of gadgets, and it's probably the same in the States, but all kinds of gadgets that you can use to make music nowadays. So for example, we use a live looping system, so I play like a 4-bar loop, and then it loops, and then we build the track up live in front of everyone.
Wonderful technique.
Yeah.
So Cherry, if I could ask a little bit about your background, both musically and then getting to London as well.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Manila, Philippines. I grew up there till I was a teenager, and then lived in London, and London's been where we started the band. And yeah, music has always been something that I really love doing, and it's a great way, I guess, for me to be able to express my faith to everyone around me.
So I want to ask a cultural question, because I know so many people from the Philippines. They're all musicians, yes. And they're all fantastic musicians, and they're all Catholic musicians.
That's
I mean,
true.
is that just my perception?
That is true. That is true. That's one of the great things, I think, about the Philippines.
And one other thing, if you don't know about the Philippines, rumor has it you begin celebrating Christmas in September.
That's true.
And you have a lot of music all the way
that's
through.
True. Yes, that's true.
All right. So it's in your blood. It's in your blood to do this.
Yes.
So I was also struck that your music is very experimental, yet your lyrics are also very evangelistic, like you name off all the continents that there are. So I want to see about the response that you've gotten with your music. Where do you get to play, and what do you see? How do you see people responding to it?
Well, unlike the States, the UK is very segmented in terms of secular music mustn't talk about the God or the world of the spirit. It's a very separate domain. So for us to be standing in no man's land between that and faith is sometimes a lonely place, because we're outside of two main groups. But we have found an audience that really connect with what we're doing and like what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I have to admit, I have a tension with the UK in this way. I love the culture.
Yeah.
The literature, the music, the gentility, the tea and biscuits, all of that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yet, when I look at the statistics and the number of people who are not believers in the UK, it breaks my heart to see that.
I totally
so
agree.
what is it like? What is it like there, and how do you find yourself coming against that culture of secularism?
As I say, we hit that every time we play in a recognized music venue, whether it be Liverpool, London, Manchester. We almost have to hide the overtly spiritual content, a bit like the Trojan horse, and then get to people's hearts by not overemphasizing things, but by keeping true to the integrity of the spiritual content of the music. But it is disconcerting sometimes to know that we can't stand up and proudly proclaim what we want to proclaim in recognized music venues in the UK.
But I think that's what's good. So our songs have the faith element, and so when we sing in places where normally you don't hear such lyrics about proclaiming your faith and saying go out there, it connects to people, with people.
Makes us write good lyrics as well, because we can't always just grab bits from the Bible, which we do.
Yes.
But we have to take it and then reword it in such a way that it's using contemporary vocabulary to say things which everyone can. I mean, everyone has a spirit. Everybody has a soul. So we have to say these big themes in language that connects with them and doesn't alienate them.
You know, I was recently with our catechizing bishop yesterday here at World Youth Day, and he said that we propose Jesus, we don't impose Jesus. And in order to propose Jesus, it does take a bit of poetry.
Yes.
You know, some word painting in order to present him in a way to where we're not just imposing and enforcing or forcing our faith on people, but to ask them to look at it. But if there was one thing that I could impose on everybody, I would want them to just know exactly what you said. We're spiritual beings as well.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, Hal and Cherry, it has been my honor to work with you. May God bless you. And can we find you on Apple Music and Spotify?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
All right. So take a look at Ooberfuse. That is OOBERFUSE. Spotify, Apple Music, whatever your musical outlets are, you can find them there. Thank you again for joining us, and we're going back down to the stage.